What's up, Donald? Back at it again?
Yep.
Yeah. Another episode, another day in LA.
Yeah, this is the first episode since I got back from Japan.
No, we had an episode before that.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Time is like crazy.
Yeah,
right now.
Ryan's doing an edit on my trip to Japan, so I'm excited to see how it comes out.
I'm confused. That's why I'm doing the edit Japan. I feel like I'm there with you, so I forgot if I went to Japan or not, or what time you got back. Everything's kind of a blur right now. But episode 22.
22.
Yeah.
Cool.
So close to 100.
Yeah.
Got to get there.
Yeah, we're at, what, 78?
Almost a quarter of the way there.
78 to go.
Yeah. What's up, man? Cool sweatshirt. You got
I
the pigment.
This is the
black
pigment black, which is it's gray basically, but it's like kind of washed, and it's thicker a little bit.
It's like a smoky black.
It's a good quality. I like it.
Yeah, that was rad. I'm still wearing my hoodie, so thanks to everybody who got some apparel. Out there.
We're gonna keep making probably limited drops of apparel because we want to delve back into first starting out with we're just basic stuff, but as we go, we're gonna start making some custom stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, and small batches too.
Smaller batches, yeah. So
this was just to get some apparel out so that we can have you guys repping GrindKing.
Yeah.
So FTWG, we got some exciting news about that.
Yeah.
So Team GrindKing is currently the name of our YouTube channel, and it kind of encompasses skateboarding as a whole. But bringing this brand back, we really kind of decided that in our eyes, and I think in your guys' eyes too, skateboarding encompasses more than just riding on the board and going out and skating. Skaters are artists, they're musicians, they're a bunch of different creatives that have their place in culture. So we have decided, you want to announce it?
Yeah. So the big news is that we're changing the name of the channel from Team GrindKing to FTWG. And the reason we wanted to do that, kind of what Ryan was saying, is that we see this as this channel evolving into not just talking about GrindKing. We want to bring in other aspects of the culture and include maybe even other skate brands. Talk about other things going on besides just what we're doing, but like we welcome other skate brands to maybe come on board with our podcast, other YouTubers, anything to do with the culture, artists, musicians. I think there's a skateboarding. What makes it so cool is that it's a industry or whatever that has all these sort of branches that go in all different directions that really make it a culture. That's what I think, to me, what makes skateboarding different from most other sports is how deep it goes into art, music, fashion, and these things which make it something that influences other industries. And it's sort of like the skate culture is the core of these other extreme sports and has evolved to part of different cultures even in the world. Skateboarding and when I went to Japan, for example, skateboarding there is different from here a bit. They're more disciplined over there. They're not just skating casually there are that too, but it seems like when they get into something, they really treat it like there's a word called
Kaizen.
Kaizen.
Yeah, Kaizen.
And it's basically their culture is like, I think what Kaizen means is sort of like they it's almost like art form. They get into it really, really to where they perfect everything. Right?
It's kind of like doing something for the sake of doing it. It's like putting honor in what you do.
Yeah.
Almost treating it as if it was, I know like in martial arts, it's like that word kind of encompasses it. It's like you focus on one thing and you do that as diligently as possible until you almost master it.
Yeah,
no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it too. Is like
Yeah.
it's almost like if skateboarding was a martial art.
Skateboarding was a martial art. Yeah.
If you looked at it that way, it would be much more, I guess, Kaizen. That's what that is. Maybe that's what
we're probably butchering the definition.
Yeah, it's probably
but
not.
I'm sure it's way cooler when you
Yeah.
read it in person. Yeah. No, I mean, skateboarding is a martial arts. It's kind of like an interesting concept because I kind of treat the way I train martial arts the same way I would treat skateboarding, where it's to like solve a problem, you kind of got to get your ass kicked in martial arts so that you can see what you're doing wrong.
There is a similarity, and there's also, the way you would master a trick in skateboarding is how you would master something in martial arts. It takes
100%.
repetition.
Also the willingness to fall, the willingness, and to fail, because it's like I've learned more from tapping to a submission multiple times in jiu-jitsu. That's the same thing with skateboarding. You almost learn more from your falls than your lands sometimes.
Yeah, and for me, now that you mention that, there's this thing I've been trying to ingrain, into now that GrindKing's coming back and evolving. There's a DNA of every company has some sort of DNA. You might say is sort of what is the company, what is it made of? Roots, or what is the philosophy, or whatever. But the DNA, I like calling it.
DNA is a cool word for that.
And I'm trying to we're making GrindKing an innovation company. And so the DNA of GrindKing, if its innovation is the kind of the root of that, it needs to be ingrained in every part of the company, not just me designing trucks, but Ryan making and editing these videos. It could be the shipping person who we're going to hire has to be innovative. So the innovation has to run through everything, and you have to think that way. And there was an interesting thing that for innovators out there, or people that want to be innovators, this is great advice. It's this thing of association. So, for example, we were talking about Dogtown and how did these things come about? How does the cross? Dogtown's famous for the it goes Dogtown, and GrindKing has the.
I like this. Should I say tell the story about the cross that we found out though?
Yeah, why don't you tell that?
Yeah. So I was reading in. Are you looking for a cross right now? Oh yeah. Well, that's the GrindKing cross. But so I was reading an old interview with Shepard Fairey, who's an artist. I think he grew up in Rhode Island, and then Craig Stesic. And the way Craig Stesic came up with the idea for the Dogtown cross actually was from a German pharmaceutical company called Bayer. I'm probably pronouncing it. Bayer.
It's an aspirin.
Well, I was trying to pronounce it in the German way.
But everyone knows the Bayer aspirin.
Yeah, Bayer aspirin. And if you look at the old logos on the medicine bottles, it has a cross.
And it says BAYER.
Yeah.
Vertically, and then BAY, and the Y is in the middle.
Yep.
So it says it.
So it says
ways,
that, and that's where the Dogtown cross comes from. But the most interesting about this article was he was talking about all of the experiences he's had in life, whether that was going to Hawaii and he was studying some of the symbolism there, or if he was in Japan and he would go to this art shop on Sawtelle called Yamaguchi Center, and he would pick up all his art supplies and get like calligraphy books. But the point is that this word association, which you wanted to talk about, is that a lot of this art that comes almost from a subculture like skateboarding and expands out into other cultures, you can almost start to pinpoint little points throughout history where one piece of art moved into another piece of art, and all of these artists are almost kind of in this collaborative mishmash of these universal symbols, and you start to see the history kind of push into other little sections of culture.
Yeah, and nothing really is original because I get my ideas from this association thing. Like I'll see something, for example, like this is the a GrindKing cross, which is my OG version of kind of copying the Dogtown cross, which was like GrindKing. I'm not gonna lie. I was inspired by Dogtown and
Christianity.
and
Because
yeah,
the
I'm
cross
such a
is
good
the original.
I'm such a good Christian. Yeah. So that was inspired from that, but Dogtown got the cross from that, and also got a lot of inspiration from, like for example, because it was Craig Stesick, I guess, did the original cross, but then Wes Humpston was the artist that made the famous Dogtown letters.
He really added the beauty of Dogtown and all that beautiful art that we see with it.
Yeah, and he was inspired by this guy Rick Griffin, who is this famous. You guys should look up Rick Griffin. His art is like the epitome of surf, psychedelic, like kind of the original. Well, you can see there's this guy. He's called the Murph. Murph.
Yeah.
And the Murph has this really cool.
I'll pop them
mask.
up on the screen.
You'll put it. Yeah,
I'll show the Murph.
And I always liked drawing it, and so did Wes.
Tales of the Tube.
Yeah,
was the comic Tales of the Tube.
Yeah, and he would it was like a fictional guy that in the cartoon he would put this mask on and turn into the Murph, and then he'd be like this surfing guy. Yeah, it was like a superhero surf dude of the time, and Wes took that mask and put it in some of the graphics. You'll see that Murph in the Dogtown graphics, and he kind of made it his own thing. So my point is that, you know, as you go through life, you see things, and if you want to be an innovator, you should take things that inspire you somehow and then integrate it somehow into what you're doing. And it's not so, if you just copied it exactly maybe and just called it the same thing, that's not cool. But, you know, you can tweak it a little bit, make it your own. Like, for example, GrindKing. This guy, I took this inspiration from Spy versus Spy.
You're rubbing the mic.
Spy versus Spy. and it's like, and then also a little bit from the Powell has the X's and the I's kind of dude. I don't know what he's called in Powell, but there's like sort of like the rat bones, I guess.
Yeah, well, that rat bones was also something I think that. So I found out actually in this article that where Craig Stesick was talking was that I think he originally started doing kind of street graffiti on abandoned buildings, and there used to be this this neighborhood called Ocean Heights in Santa Monica, and the 10 freeway, which wasn't there at the time, they built that through that community and basically took a whole community away. There was a lot of communities in LA, even Dodger Stadium is sitting on an old community. They got taken down, but he'd go to these abandoned buildings and they'd start experimenting with some of this street and graffiti art. So there's a big crossover with graph culture and skateboarding.
What was that one, the guy with on the wall?
Yeah, so the Rat Bones logo is actually inspired. This was a cool article I read. I had all this stuff I didn't know before this, but that Rat Bones logo was inspired by World War II GI graffiti. So these soldiers would go out and they would graffiti this character, and it was Kilroy. Kilroy was the character. So it was,
Kilroy Was Here or something.
Yeah, Kilroy Was Here. So like American GIs, they would go and they would draw this little character, and it was this little goofy guy who's peeking over like a ledge, you know, as if they're in war. And these American soldiers would leave that there kind of as a sign of like, hey, we're here, we're taking over, it's the good fight. And it was Kilroy. And if you go look up Kilroy Was Here, that's where that logo got inspired of the Rat's Bones. It's been ripped off over and over again.
Yeah, and you could see even on the hat you're wearing, you could see the X's in the eyes.
Yeah, it almost looks like
there's always the X. You know, I always thought that was cool. For some reason, the X's in the eye, and the Spy versus Spy when they would blow, you know, from Mad Magazine.
Yeah.
Whenever they always kill each other, and then they would have the X's in the eye. So I thought like, okay, well, I like the whole X's in the eye and the Spy versus Spy and the Kilroy thing or whatever, the Rat Powell thing, and I kind of combined it all, and that was sort of my point of the association. So I kind of made my own thing from getting inspired from these different things.
For sure. There's a difference between stealing and then influence, like things that influence you and then you create more out of it, and then there's stealing where you just rip it off and put it on a shirt.
When you just take something and just knock it off verbatim, that's cheesy. But changing a little bit. I mean, look at Apple. Apple's famous for doing that. They've taken many of their ideas from other things that Jobs was inspired by. Tesla. I mean, every company you can think of, they're taking ideas from what they've seen in other areas, and that's why in corporate America and in military you have spies, because spies are trying to find things and clues from what other people are doing so they can integrate it into their new designs.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool to see. And going back to this brand change, not a brand change.
Oh, yeah.
GrindKing's still going to be called GrindKing, by the
Yeah.
way. We're not changing the name of GrindKing.
It's just the channel.
Yeah, it's a channel, and we want to represent this channel as something. It's for those who grind can mean so much more than just grinding on a skateboard.
Well, I would like to say that we're looking at it as a platform that will evolve to where we can keep adding, including other things.
Yeah.
So we want to expand the idea to encompass this entire industry of skateboarding. So there's more. It's going to be more interesting.
It's for the culture. Yeah. Like we don't want to be a channel. Like skateboarding is the heart of what this channel is about and how it started. But I think skateboarding, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on this, it just encompasses so much more. So we want to not only just have pro skaters on the show, we want to have you guys. We want to have artists. We want to see what you guys are doing. What's happening right now in skateboarding. Because it's like you could meet a skater who makes amazing art or makes amazing music or has another job on the side as an entrepreneur. There's just so much to a skater. It's not just the clothes you wear. It's not just the board that you're riding. It's like what makes the skateboarder, and that could be so different to so many different people.
Yeah,
it's like you got punk rock skaters. You got hip hop is influenced. Skate culture's influenced hip hop. Skate culture's influenced punk rock. It's influenced so many things
music,
through the years.
fashion.
Music, fashion. Yeah, just down the line, you just keep going and going, and it's like some of this original art. Even the artists you're talking about had, the Grateful Dead, all that psychedelic art. He even has some Grateful Dead imagery that he's created over the years. It's like an octopus with tentacles, and it's just putting its tentacles in like every little part of culture as you look further and further back. And I love that. It makes me so excited, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about all the artists and all the artwork that has been done on decks. I mean, that's for a skater, they would rather go walk through a museum of all deck arts than probably any art museum typical, because it's more relatable, and it's part of that. It's what makes skateboarding. You don't have that in even in I can't think of most. Well, I guess surfboards have some art and snowboards do too, but it really came from skateboarding.
Yeah. I mean, the original logos on those old like roller derby skateboards, if you like look at the old Santa Cruz logos, it used to just say Santa Cruz. The logo, the graphics were just originally on the top of the deck. Later on, they started putting on the bottom of the deck, and you started seeing the topography change, and you started seeing these graphics, which really came from skateboarding. The skate deck almost became the medium of which the art was produced on. And then as it got easier and easier to make these graphics on boards, then you started kind of seeing innovations. You started seeing some questionable things, some that you only see in skateboarding because it was a subculture, and it was originally a rebellious culture. So it's cool to see how skateboarding has expanded elsewhere, and it's almost it just does this all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's an interesting. It's kind of a freak show of just all these different personalities and things that you don't find in other. You won't find it in golf or
There's some characters in golf.
Are there?
Oh yeah. What's the guy's name? Is it Jack? It's not Jack Nicholson. That's the actor.
No, I'm talking about artwork though.
Oh, artwork.
That might be cool though. You might maybe golf should have the ball, or maybe not the ball because you need a white ball to see it. But how would you integrate art into golf? I guess you'd have to put it on.
I was Tiger Woods for Halloween one year. I was Tiger Woods when he got caught and was doing all that crazy stuff. I shaved my head and I put on a red Nike shirt, and I went to a rave, and it looked hilarious. But
you were trying to be Tiger Woods.
I was trying to be Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Yeah. If I shave and I shave my head, like I can kind of look like Tiger Woods.
I never got into
me.
golf. I don't know.
I can't watch it. Yeah, I've tried to play it. Like my dad plays golf. It's a hard sport for me. It's really similar to martial arts and skateboarding. Is what I hear, just because of the technical side of it and how much effort goes in.
It's not. Maybe. I once. You know what's fun though is if you take acid and play miniature golf on acid. Miniature golf.
Miniature golf. Well, they have those like indoor miniature golf parks now that are like all psychedelic. You can go in, but yeah, golf and LSD sounds a little.
Yeah, that
I don't
might.
know if that mixes
it makes
really well.
it's more interesting.
You're outdoors. Yeah, it'll make golf a little bit more interesting for sure. Yeah. So FTWG. Let us know what you guys think about that.
And you may have some other. There's obviously there's a little bit of a spoof on just FTW, which everyone knows that means. I would hope.
What's it mean?
Fudge the world.
Fudge the world.
Yeah.
G. Fudge the world. G.
Well, it would, in this case, it would be fudge the world good.
Fudge the world good. Fudge it good. Well, fudge. Man.
Or frick the whore. Okay, I can't say that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but hey,
never mind. In
the comments, give us your best acronyms for FTWG.
Maybe there's some new things we haven't thought of that are.
Yeah. There's definitely something. I typed it into AI the other night and came up with a bunch of
free the world
stuff.
good. We need that.
Free the world good. Yeah. So welcome to FTWG, guys.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a new show. We're gonna have guests on too. That's something that we really want to bring on the channel, and we don't want to have the typical guests. We want to kind of expand out into all kinds of weird stuff and keep it skateboarding, whatever that means.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep it core. Skateboarding always has to be edgy, in my opinion. It has to, not maybe too edgy, although some skateboarders companies have been too edgy, but I kind of like the idea of the wheelie. Like you gotta keep, don't go over too far, but don't just be back normal.
Balance.
You gotta be kind of on the
Find
edge.
that zen.
Always be on the edge.
Find that kaizen.
Or on the curb.
Right on. So yeah. What else? What else we got going on?
Well, let's see. We could talk about the things that they're going back to fashion a little bit.
Yeah. I want to hear a little bit of your story of, first of all, just like kind of how GrindKing got started from that, and like Bronze Age, a little bit about Von Dutch. You can maybe tease it. We could do a whole episode, I'm sure, about that.
Well, I want to ease back. One of the things I wanted to get some feedback on, and people have been pushing me to try and bring back, is Grind Queen, because some people may not know I did this brand offshoot of GrindKing was Grind Queen back. I'm talking like this is way over 10 years ago.
Donald was a fashionista.
Yeah, and I thought I had this vision that I wanted to do. Quicksilver, or used to be a brand called Quicksilver. I guess.
You told me that. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. That the logo.
Yeah, well, Quicksilver. There's a story about Quicksilver too, because Quicksilver, there's a connotation, or I don't know if it's a true story, but apparently, it's another word for cocaine. And if you look at the logo, it was like this mound of. It's like a mound of coke and a spoon. I don't know. There was some sort of.
It's a myth.
There was some.
Yeah.
There was some. I don't know if it was a myth though. I think there was some actual.
You think some of that money was coming from down south?
I heard it was kind of like it was like like.
A little bit of Escobar money
hidden
making its way.
Hidden meaning in the logo and the name.
It's too much of a. I mean, Quicksilver. Yeah, that's too close.
There was something. I'll look it up. We'll look it up. But there was something about it. And anyway,
Peruvian scales.
But they grew to be they became one of the top surf brands. And one of the things they did at one point, which I think is still around, is they did this girls line called Roxy, which many of you have heard about it. And Roxy was, it blew up to be a whole nother brand in itself. catering to the girls that surfed and wanted to look like surfers. Probably more girls wore it that just wanted to look like surfers.
The guys got the catalogs to
yeah
look at the girl surfers.
Yeah, and guys could buy their girlfriends something that was surfy.
Their G-string.
Yeah.
Surf thongs.
And so I got the idea back. I was like, oh, that's kind of surf girls clothing. Well, what about skate, clothing for girls? And this is way ahead of its time, but I said, okay, I'm going to do Grind Queen. So but it's going to be the twist is it's Roxy gone bad.
Roxy gone bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be the punk rock version of Roxy. So this is not the surfy girl that's all trying to look cute. This is the girl that's tatted and she's a badass and she's going to be like the Roxy gone bad.
You sound like you're profiling skate girls.
Punk rock version of Roxy. So that's what I did. And lo and behold, a lot of girls liked it. They were like, "Oh, this is dope." It was like kind of tattoo graphics and that edgy. It had a jacket called a Mary Jane, and it had buttons that didn't match. It looked like it was all my kind of quote for the designers was a dysfunctional fashion.
Dysfunctional fashion.
Yeah. So it was beat up. Like
great.
what a skate chick would wear.
Yeah.
And it started out really cool. Like that, and then I brought in these two girl designers, and that was a big mistake in a sense now that I look back, because they took it in a different direction. I wanted it this punk rock, stay with the core, crazy, tore up look skater girl. They wanted to take it into this fashion, higher fashion look like that. I don't know what I don't know what I was thinking, because I let them do it.
We got to throw that catalog up on the screen.
Yeah,
where it started and where it went, because it got...
I basically that might have been the final death nail in GrindKing, to be honest. It was
it was the timing of everything too, with the 2008 crash and then all of that.
What happened was I got obsessed with trying to become this new Roxy for skate.
Yeah.
And I put so much money. I hired these two designers. I bought all this fabric, did all this stuff you need to create a woman's clothing brand that was almost high fashion. And it got on the cover of Apparel News. It was starting to go, so I put more money into it. And then the 2008 economy crash hit. Yeah. And here I am, he's gung-ho, giving it the gas, putting all my money, instead of into GrindKing, into Grind Queen. And it just went from looking like it was going to be really the next big thing to it was just this money pit, just taking all the cash and just sucking. And then now the economy's going bad, so there's sales are going down. I'm throwing all my money into it, and it didn't take long before I was in this debt spiral where I couldn't come out. That was the end of GrindKing.
How many thongs did you sell, though?
I don't remember. But
I think we should bring that back.
Something. So here's my question to the.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know.
Is that the rat you were talking about?
Yeah. That's a big rat.
Yeah.
No, my question is, should I bring it back, and who, what should it be like? And I see the reason why I'm thinking of bringing it back now, I think it was ahead of its time. Back then, there weren't as many girls skateboarding, and they weren't at the level they are now. Now they're everywhere, and they're just ripping. So I think that there should be something dedicated to girls out there that skate that has this, again, I want to go back to the original look, which is kind of edgy and punk rock and fits that image that is skate Roxy gone bad. You know?
Well, I think just like we do everything here, if you're a female in the comments, let us know what you want to see.
Yeah, let us know, or if you're even a guy that may have a girlfriend that skates or something, I want to hear some feedback on, first of all, should we do it? And if I do it, we'll probably start out. I'm gonna probably try and do a few things, just a little stuff, like something silly that just has the Grind Queen logo, because it was a cool logo that I had that was this tattoo rose. I'll show it. Maybe you can flash that in.
I can flash that. Yeah, I love the old vintage rose.
Yeah,
look. It's super cool.
But because the skate industry, as I'm talking about, we're trying to be more inclusive. I think we should include girl skaters,
100%.
women skaters, girl skaters.
So many
Make
of them
them
now.
feel empowered, because I like to see, from, I was always into, back then, I think I was ahead of my time with also termite, which was for the little first times, just a little, I call them termites because they look like termites to me, a little tiny, he's got a termite growing. They're tiny skaters that are the next generation. And that's part of it too. I think there should be some dedication to these termite skaters, the girl skaters, the old school skaters. I mean, that's the thing about skateboarding. There's no such thing as it goes in all directions.
You know
Every
what's
direction.
crazy too? I off the top of my head, I can't think of one female skate brand, one.
Well, there's
kids
salt
skate
rag.
brand.
There's salt rags that the Heidi Lemon does. Salt rags.
Yeah, I
and
can't.
then
I can't think of anything like off the top.
nothing.
of my head
Nothing that
big.
stands out.
Yeah.
Because they haven't nailed it. Like someone needs to, just like Roxy nailed it with the surf. Someone needs to nail it with the skate one. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see what happens. I'm not going to do stupid. Put all my money into it. I think that we need to focus on GrindKing, but Grind Queen has potential. That's what I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Well, let's talk about it. Yeah, community. Tell us.
Instead of for those who grind, the tagline was for girls who grind.
For girls who grind. For girls who grind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like we gotta be careful with the acronyms there.
I mean, the girls
Whatever,
grind.
yeah, girls,
they
let us
grind
know.
all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Make a coffee brand out of FTWG too. There's so many ways we can go with this. Right on. So we got that last little bit of batch of trucks out. We got more coming this month. We're hoping to get out. Some of those are going out to distributors, and then we're going to do another big order of lockers coming up.
Yeah. Again, the distributors that are getting them.
They're always in
soon.
the description.
I think
YouTube.
I think JHS in Australia is about to receive their trucks. They should be finally getting them. If not already received them, they may. I haven't heard yet, but very close to that. So Australia will be able to get some trucks. Eastern Skate, South Shore, Ocean Avenue. They're going to be receiving their trucks soon, as soon as I get them, which would be, I'm thinking, within the next couple weeks. And we'll have a small batch that we'll put on the site. That at this point we've just placed another order, so there's another order coming in, but that'll take probably three months from now. So in the meantime, we're going to be working on other stuff, like maybe start working on the backpack and some other things, which we'll show in another episode. What else? There's also
I think Ricky Glazer is giving away a pair of lockers. So go out to his channel. He's doing some sort of competition.
Okay.
So if you want to win a pair of lockers, go do that. I think that's about it. Just take it easy. FTWG.
Yeah, FTWG.
You're gonna see a rebrand of
there.
the channel. Do some cool stuff. So
and any suggestions, on how we can expand this channel to make it more entertaining for you?
Yeah,
we want to incorporate more gamification to where you can win stuff. So maybe give us some ideas for contests, and it doesn't have to be just skating. It could be art. It could be music. Who does the best? Beats a GrindKing beat, or comes up with a mix for grind. I mean, let's have fun with this. Where the idea of this channel too is that we're trying to decentralize, in a sense, what we're doing to where you guys out there are part of this evolution and contribute in ways that again, it's about innovation. We're an innovation company, so we want to include you in the process of these new ideas.
Yeah. So let us know, guys. Peace out. Episode 22. We'll see you later.
All right,
Doll.